Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Well, of course, someone's at my door immediately. Right when we start the show. It's the mailman. He's at the door. He's a mailman. He's a mailman. Mad props to the United States Postal Service at this time of year because that ain't no easy gig. That ain't no easy gig this time of year. What's up to all my mailmen and women? You guys know I'm a huge fan of the United States Postal Service. So I'll start the show giving a shout out to the Postal Service. Love you guys and gals out there. It's a raining, it's a cold, it's a probably snowing somewhere and a blowing and doing all that kind of crazy stuff. But hey, I appreciate all your hard work. I appreciate the United States taxpayer being involved, the system, blah, 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 all the good stuff. I had a big fun internet interaction with a good friend of mine who lives overseas, an expat, if you will. All good-natured. It was a reminder of how awesome the United States Postal Service is here in the U.S., because where she and her family lives, they have to walk. They have to, go down to get their mail. They have to, go down to a mail place to get their mail, and that's their government mail. So ours is just so awesome. They come to the door every day, and I appreciate it. I really do, because I almost always get something cool in the mail. But UPS, I will say, brought me some of the worst news I have ever received via the mail the other day. And they came in the form of Yeezys. And if anybody is familiar with what Yeezys are, that is Kanye West's shoe company, which are probably the worst shoes I've ever seen in my entire life. They're abysmal. But that's just a taste thing more than anything else. I just am like, what? These are ridiculous. And it turns out they're ridiculously priced, so it has motivated some criminal elements out there to steal credit card information from gas stations. Oh, your guy right here, your boy right here. I got a credit card scam. Got my credit card stolen, and somebody bought a whole bunch of pairs of Yeezys. And they showed up on my porch just last week. So I'm going through the whole fraud thing and dealing with that whole nonsense. So I'm currently out of a credit card right now because it is maxed out in the form of sneakers. Highly overpriced sneakers, I must admit. And I must say, what a cluster of nonsense. It is a cluster of nonsense, and yeah, so that's what's going on. So shout out to the USPS, the United States Postal Service, and the UPS. Boo. Weak. They stole all my credit and converted it into sneakers that they don't even, they don't even look like they do well as sneakers. I don't even know if I could play ball in those comfortably. They don't even seem like that. I'm going to zoom myself out a little bit. I feel like I was zoomed in far too close for y'all. But anyhow, I think it's funny more than anything, and it's definitely an inconvenience, I will say that. But, as I mentioned, I'm already filed all the fraud alert, all that kind of stuff, and blah, blah, blah. So that's all handled. And it's Yeah, it is what it is, but it was kind of funny. Just kind of a funny thing that happened, and really kind of sucks. So, but in the meantime, just doing and living the dream. There are some changes coming up to the office down here, but that's kind of dumb right now. And I don't think I'm going to make a video about it because I don't think people are really all that excited about me building my office. I know some diehard fans out there are like, man, make building videos and stuff like that, which I do have plans to make some more, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for here? I lost it. I'm going to make some more, do-it-yourself building projects like stands and aquariums and stuff like that. I will do those at some point. I'm not 100% sure when those will be, but I'm sort of leaning against the idea right now that I'm gonna hope that those are sponsored videos. That's kind of where I'm at right now as far as that kind of stuff goes. A lot of projects coming up with 2020. I will be doing my best to attend Interzoo, so I'll be in Germany in middle. What is it? If it's 3 weeks in, is that the middle end? I don't know. What is that? The majority of the way through May, I guess. I'll be in Germany for that, and I am planning on going to Vivarium again next year. Those are the 2 trips that I'm planning on taking that I'm going to let you guys know about right meow. There might be some other trips, that's for sure. That stuff definitely comes down the pipe sometimes. So, but the only 2 things I'm planning on doing next year will be Interzoo and Vivarium. Those will be the 2 things that I'm planning on right now. Affordable things that I'm going to try, trips that I'm going to try to make. I'm going to try to go down to Arizona because I want to film at Preston's in Preston's fish room and do some interview stuff with Preston in regards to the puffer fish and that kind of stuff. Then I also am probably going to go back to Oregon. I think I'm going to go to Oregon to do some tours down there of some of the things going on in Oregon, in Portland, and some of the things going on down in Eugene. So that's a much more manageable trip because that's literally me just driving my truck down there. It's the only downside is about a 4-hour drive each way. So it's the only downside. It's really hard to do it in one day. So probably be a 2-day trip or something like that. But I'm going to figure that out and when I can do that. I don't currently have any plans with any other YouTubers for 2020, and I'm assuming that Aquarium Co-op and myself will probably do something at some juncture, but I have no plans with other YouTubers at this point, and that's kind of how that's going to go because the YouTube community is awesome. I really feel like the YouTube community is fantastic, and the people that watch it and stuff like that. I mean, I have a small channel, like we got 25,000 people here, but obviously 60 people are here watching right now, and about 1,000 will watch this video. But that's sort of the people that are kind of what I would consider like, oh, that's the good part of the community, right? But I don't have any plans with other YouTubers or anything like that. So if anybody was expecting that this next year, I don't have any plans for that. I hope to do more things that are sponsored and not just doing a ton of legwork and stuff and having to deal with other people's drama. That's just not going to be my thing coming up in 2020. LOL says I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I bought some aquascaping tweezers, and when I use them, I put the plant in the soil, and when I let pressure off the tweezers, it just spreads the soil and not the plant. It's a bit of a dilemma. You want to hold on to the plant, plant it into the substrate, let go of the tweezers, pull them away without you know, you want to leave the plant in there. You know, and I wish I could give you good advice. It's really just a practice thing. It all just comes down to practice, get good at it. There was a point in time where I had tons and tons of nano tanks. I had nano aquariums all over the place. I don't even know. There was a point in time where I didn't even know how many aquariums I had. But one of the things I used to do was I would just take all my trimmings and put them into another nano tank. I would plant them all in there, and then I would just get another nano tank. I'd get another tank. Just kind of, you know, crazy collectoritis like that. And, yeah, so it's just a practice thing. You just have to get good at it. It would be the same as me, you know, really giving advice on somebody how to cut a straight line with a skill saw. It's like, you know, you're either going to have to get a guide and you're going to have to practice or get a table saw. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to have to practice to get good at it. I mean, I could give you advice on, like, let go a little bit more or don't hold on as much, but it's just kind of a practice thing. I recently heard a lot of people on YouTube get super pissed off when, you know, if somebody's live streaming and they give a shout out to people in the chat. I noticed that came up on numerous live streams I've heard recently that were playing in the background. I've heard people mention that. So I'm going to give a shout out to Fish Eye on Tactics, It's Nature Man, Fish Room Fever, Robert the Butcher, The Zen Ginger, Cole Wenger, 54 Punchy, who is our currently our moderator extraordinaire. Candy is relinquished the reins to 54 Punchy, so if you guys need a moderator stuff from her, she's got it. We have also other moderators that will delete whatever weird nonsense comes up. But let's see, Cheryl Evans, Telescope Aquatics. Let's see, Michael Sarr, and then who was asking? That's not a question. That's a comment. Let me keep going here. Keep scrolling. UG Aquatics, Big D Smoke, Fish Keeperist, Ginger Graves, Donald's Fish Vibes, Daryl Deemer, Anthony Brown, Jessica Taylor, Fish Room Fever, Scotty G66, Tom Anding. Sorry, I got that wrong. Zen Ginger. If I didn't say Zen Ginger before, I'm saying it again. Derek Runyon, Anthony Brown, Palmer Aquatics, Rickhab Harris, which you're not fooling us anymore, Sarah. Yeah, and Don Gallagher and a bunch of other people too. So shout out to everybody in there. And yeah, I know that pisses off people when they hear people say hi to people in the chat. So hi, people in the chat. What's up, people in the chat? I like saying what's up to people in the chat. That's why I do a live stream in the freaking first place. And I probably just got demonetized for saying freaking, even though it's not a swear word. But I guess it's a euphemism for a swear word. Fish Eye on Tactics with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, my guy. I appreciate it. And yeah, so shout out to everybody. Bracken says people get mad at this thing and that, at this thing, and that's what I'm about. So let me do it. One of my favorite parts about you, my man. Yeah, that's just, hey, look, people show up to a live stream. I like saying hi to people. That's the whole reason I do a live stream. People wonder why I do so many live streams, because I like to be able to answer your guys' questions, say hi, see what's going on, and all that jazz, right? Who is at my door? Someone else is at my door. Is it another mailman? Yep, another mailman. What's up to the mailman today? You all going wild out there. I wonder if that's my RAM or not. I'm thinking it is. I might have computer parts sitting on the front porch. Oh, I better leave my camera app open, right? I'm going to mute it, though. If I see somebody up there, I'll just grab my rifle and go shoot them with my gun. It's right over there. Anyhow, it looks like another mailman showed up and dropped off some parts, which I ordered before my credit card got maxed out and closed, which actually ended up deferring to another card I had on file. So how funny is that? That was a good time. Joel Jay-Z is here. He's also a moderator, so watch out. Don't get too weird in the chat. He says, sad you missed me. I always miss Joel. I want to go to New Zealand real bad. I want to go to New Zealand real bad. It just hasn't worked out yet to be able to go there. Vicky and I were going to try to go this year, but we're kind of worried about, I think it's a 22-hour flight. And I think that's going to be exceedingly difficult. People were wondering how my Christmas went. My Christmas went fantastically. I did get some presents. I got a brand new camera bag, which was my big present this year. I got some new lids for my jars, although it's difficult to drink fast enough while on a live stream with my jar lid on it. I'm learning. I'm learning to have a jar lid. You know what I mean? Right? And so I might have to just take the lid off for now during the show because that was making a wacky noise, and I bet somebody's earphones are losing it right now. And that's much quicker. I can get a lot more volume down too, so that's pretty good. So I can definitely appreciate that whole situation. But yeah, I got a new camera bag. I got a new Manfrotto camera bag. That was my big present. And socks and underwear because I'm an old dude, and that's how it rolls. That's how it rolls out here. And by the way, people get down on the socks and underwear gift for Christmas, and I have to be admitting to you guys right now, I am the exact opposite of the people that get down on socks and underwear, because I think it's a blessing to be able to suddenly have like 24 new pairs of socks and underwear. I'm like, this is just one of the majestic things that you could have happen to you, where like every day you have like some nice new socks to get on and some new underoos to cradle your whoozy whatsits, and it's awesome. The other present I got was another cold from my daughter, who's been bringing the germs home from daycare and amongst other things, which has just been incredibly fun. Let's see. Fish Keeperus with a $2 super chat says, for the chat shout out. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey, if we super chatted a bunch, I'll just keep doing chat shout outs, and that'll just be the whole show. But don't worry, we got a video today, so if anybody out there is really freaking out, we are 17 minutes in, running strong, so we will get to that video here in just a second. Thea Bolin says, come on, 72 watchers, but only 22 thumbs up. That is a good point. Aquamate says, remember to hit that thumbs up button. It must be really easy to get overtime as a mailman nowadays from HC Aqua. You're probably right. A Big D Smoke with a $10 super chat says, screw demonetization, and oh yeah, Happy New Year. And by the way, this is the last live stream of the year. We will not be back until 2020. Right? We won't be back. We will not be back on the internet until 2020. And I may or may not have an edited video this week. I haven't decided if I want to release it yet. I still got some edits to do to it. And in realistic terms, you guys, I don't know if you guys know anything about YouTube and how people get paid on YouTube. People don't really get paid making YouTube videos anymore. It just doesn't really work out. The commercialization of YouTube, Twitch, all of that kind of stuff that's going on, it has turned into the advertising is essentially taken away from people that make videos on YouTube now. And December is the highest that you can make. It's the most that you can earn throughout the year is the month of December. And then the month of December will be over in like a day and a half's time, right? So I don't really have it ready to be uploaded tomorrow. So maybe Wednesday I'll have a video come out. We'll see. Joel JC says it's already 2020 in New Zealand. That's impossible. It's the 31st in New Zealand, right? It's tomorrow. $2020 does sound like a majestic. It sounds like a majestic year. It should be pretty wild. I'm honestly pretty excited about the fact that Canon's got a new camera coming out, which I'm actually excited for the Canon cameras that are coming out this year. I know this doesn't mean that much to most aquascapers or fish tank people or something like that, but I'm honestly excited for the cameras that come out this year. Whether I'm going to buy them or not, that's probably I'm not going to buy them. But I'm still excited to see what they come out with. You guys know I leveraged all my earnings against getting an EOS R, which is Canon's sort of flagship camera right now, which will be replaced very soon. And I'm very happy with how well it works, and I don't see myself spending that kind of money to get another camera for quite a while, but who knows? Maybe they'll offer a trade-in policy or something. I don't know. We'll see. Because I have a camera right here I never use. I tried to sell it, and no one will buy it. So, I don't know. I don't have any trade-in money, if that's kind of the deal. Niels Hansen with a Danish 17 Danish somethings. Says a shout out to Corvus Oscen. Well, thank you, Niels. Shout out to you, my brother. I have no idea how much that translates into. Maybe it's $1 billion, but it is light blue, so it's probably $1 USD. Would be my guess, because they're color coded, right? Robert the Butcher says, then it worked, at least memorable. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I'm laughing at 54 Punchy says, help get Joel Yeezys to wear to New Zealand. There's already a bunch of new Yeezys up in my living room right now that need to be returned on the fraud, the fraud thing, but I'm not sending them back until they credit my money. You see what I'm saying there? I don't know if this company that sent these shoes is the offender. You know what I mean? So if I get the fraud credited back and they want to pay for a return shipping label, I'll put the return shipping label on there. I will drop it off at the UPS and I will send it back where it came from. But not before that. And I sure as hell am not going to kowtow to any of their, you better send them back right now because our shoes are super expensive. I don't know. You have no credit verification on your website or anything like that because somebody just used my number and my mailing address, which means that they just stuffed my number into their website and they just authorized it. Like, okay. And which means they automatically just shipped to my house because it was the only address attached to that credit card, right? So I'm like, I'm not sending these shoes back before I get my credit refunded. You know what I mean? Donald's Fish Vibe says, Joel, show us the shoes. Maybe I could take my camera up there and shoot something for you guys. I'll post it up into the community, but I opened one of the boxes to find out. I was like, what are these boxes? Because I just assumed somebody had sent me something, right? Because it had my name on it. I was like, I don't understand what this box is. I didn't order anything. I was not expecting anything to be delivered, right? And so I was like, what is this box? And I opened it up, and it's like nondescript brown boxes. And the sticker on it said Yeezys.com, and it didn't really register in my head until I realized that there was boxes of sneakers in there. That I went and took one out, and I was just like, ew. And to people asking what size they were 10s and 11s, men's sizes. So I don't know who those will fit. I don't even think I could probably squeeze my sled into the old 11s there, but I got weird, goofy feet. You know what I mean? Select Pet says, hi all, can't stay long, but had to stop by and leave a like. Why hasn't everyone else hit that thumbs up like button? I don't know. I don't know why. I can't answer that. Big D Smoke says, if they don't want him back, I can sling him for you. My son can get him off quick. Yes, I will admit that Dennis was the first person. Dennis is Big D Smoke. You were the very first person that popped into my head. I was like, oh, if I got to sell these, I'm just going to give them to Dennis because his son's going to college. He's got to know some people there that desperately need Yeezys real bad to represent in college, right? And so I was like, I'm gonna hit up Dennis like for sure if I need to get rid of these quick. It's like college kids can come up with $200 real fast, right? They know how. College kids is crazy. You can't even trust these college kids these days. It's 2020, don't you know? I mean, in a day and a half. Donald's Fish Vibe says it could be my daughter who ordered those shoes. No, I mean, she is crafty, but she is not that crafty yet. I'm about 100% tracking my credit card information. It was when I went to a gas station, which I don't normally ever go to. We drove to my mother's house way out over the mountains and stuff. And I'm pretty sure it was... I'm pretty sure it was a gas station with a RFID chip reader at it. 54 Punchy right there says, when I worked at a gas station, we checked daily for the fake covers. They record credit card numbers, then they steal the numbers. That's right. That's why, I think the highest probability for it is that I swiped my card, like buy gas or something, and that's why they didn't really have enough information. They just had enough information to order it, and then it got immediately shipped to my house because they won't let you edit the shipping address. I don't know. Unless somebody was going to come here and murder me for the Yeezys, but like I said, I got my rifle right over there, so I think we'll be fine. It may or may not be an AR or something along those lines, but yeah, you guys know what I mean. He will trade them for ramen noodles and other unmentionable items. That's right. Fish Tank Barn. Speaking of ramen, I ate Top Ramen right before this. As you guys know, I am doing my damnedest to save money, and I realized that in my own personal stuff, when I'm here home, if I spend like $5 or $10 on food during the day, that's $5 or $10 that I could put into production and just making better stuff. So I literally had Top Ramen today for lunch, which is not great. I know that the nutrition isn't good, but I've been working out again, so I'll burn it off pretty quick. It'll be fine. Even though I'm almost 40, guys, I'm gonna be the fattest 40-year-old ever that I've ever been. It's gonna happen when my birthday comes up, which is looming. It's coming. I realized that I'm gonna be 40 fairly soon. It's coming. Although I do have to admit, from hanging out with Johan in the Netherlands, that, 40 looks pretty good on him, so I'll probably be okay too. Right? All right, so let's not just accidentally jump right into the video. Let's give it a little bit of a precursor. The 240-gallon you guys saw, I did post a video on Bracken coming over to help out, break that thing down, get it reset up. Obviously, it took some days and that kind of stuff, and we got it rescaped and things going on. The ongoing process of it shall continue over the next year because, unless we move or something like that, my plan is to just continue maintaining it, just to see where we can get it in a year. Although one of the weird things is that I don't think there's any way to realistically, if I let's say I wanted to do this as a competition tank or something like that, I don't even know if I could actually take a good picture of a 240. You know what I'm saying? With how close you got to be or how far you got to be. It's 8 feet long, and it is kind of a weird thing to try and take a picture of a fish tank like that. It's not. I'm not saying it's impossible to take good pictures of things that are 8 feet long. I'm saying that to try and get a competition picture of an 8-foot tank for a competition, I don't know how that would work. Maybe you have to take 2 4-footers and then splice them together. I don't know. Because I just don't know how to make that framing work. I'm just not that good, so. Precious Tranquility says, when my son was gone for a week, I ate nothing but ramen and beef jerky. Ooh, that's a power move. That's a power move right there. Dank Tanks reminds us that MSG monosodium glutamate makes it taste better. That's right. Monosodium glutamate, which actually is just, it's essentially a salt. It does kind of interact a little bit with your brain's ability to tell your stomach that it's full, but it doesn't do all that kind of crazy stuff that, like back in the 80s when MSG was so vilified. It doesn't do that. It's fine. It's just basically extra salt. So if you're on some kind of salt-restricted diet, that's really the only thing that you got to really worry about that much. But the 240 is getting some work done on it and stuff, and that's kind of what today's video is all about, just the continued work on it. Of course, the video didn't start out at the beginning. Be aware, this video is sped up to maybe, I want to say like 500%, maybe even more so. Not completely sure. Let me make me a little bigger and make my little window a little smaller. How about that? There. I'm going to put my baby right here. I'll put her right in there. There. Ow, my foot. Ow, my foot. Oh. Should probably get my Yeezys on, right? So the 240 has been an ongoing process, that is for sure, and definitely making some changes to it. Like the first thing that kind of had to come out was the Oosteriana, which is a type of Cryptocorini. It kind of being back in the corner back here, it's just not, it was really just not performing the way that I would have expected it to do. So I'm actually just pulling it out, and I'm going to replace it with a little bit of a quicker grower and a plant that I've been holding on to that I'd never really found a spot for it. I'm just going to go ahead and put it back there, and it's one of the Ludwigia varietals that I've had for quite a long time. It's basically a repens that's sort of kind of a diamond-shaped repens. It's a little bit different. It's one that I've been kind of messing around with quite a few years. It's one of the few plants that actually survived the big move and everything without anything crazy happening. And so I'm going to end up packing that back there. That'll be later in the video. Right here, the Rotala Atra. I was not really intending to even have this be in the scape all that much, but as you guys saw the puffer take off and swim off. Let me see if I can't go back in the video here. He takes off and goes a-swimming. Here he goes. And there he goes, like, what are you doing? Takes off, goes swimming up back there, escapes up over the top of the little ridge line. What's he doing? He's hanging out back there. There he goes. I was not really intending to keep this Rotala Atra in here at all. I had basically put a plant weight on this, just a big giant clump of it I took out of another tank, and I just kind of popped it in the corner there because I was like, I don't want it to die, and maybe I was going to pass on. I passed on some of it to some people out there, and I realistically wasn't going to put it in here, wasn't going to be a part of the scape, but my little puffer decided that was his home. He just made this crazy little home, and I just can't bring myself to just rip it out and tell the fish to go away because it's my little puffer, man. It's a cool dude, so I just went ahead and decided to keep trimming and kind of scaping this Rotala here and let it be his little house. I had not expected, with the amount of hardscape and everything that is in this tank, for the puffer to actually like kind of hollow out a little cave into the plant to make the plant his little cave. I hadn't expected that. I've never really seen that kind of behavior out of any other puffer fish. It appears that the spotted Congo, the Shoutedeni, I'm probably saying it wrong, and I'm sure someone's going to tell me I'm dumb again, but I normally call them the Scootin' Fruity Puffer. That's clearly the right way to say it. They seem to be the best, or seem to be not the best. Well, they are the best, for sure. But they seem to be the only fish that actually kind of does this little wacky behavior. So, that's kind of the whole reason this Rotala's even here. I haven't scaped it that way, and that wasn't really the plan, and it definitely is taking from the hardscape in here. So I am kind of trying to make up my mind on whether or not I just leave it there. But I really like that my little puffer likes the little puffer area that he's created for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I'm probably going to maintain that. You guys will notice during the video here there's a flashing red light going at hyper speed in the very center of the frame, which is just 100% a rookie error. I thought I had turned off the little flashing light on my little camera that I have here, and it turns out it somehow came back on. I don't know why. It's 100% turned off in the settings, but now we see that flashing light there, which will drive us all insane. But this is Ludwigia that I was talking about earlier. It's kind of a Repens varietal that I've basically been splicing it and growing it and splitting it and growing it and splitting it and growing it for a long time, that it's just never been in any other environment at this point in time than something that I maintained. It's gone through so many different incarnations basically, and I've just had it for so long that it is essentially just an aquarium plant at this point. Let me see here. Let me catch up with the chat a little bit. As you guys can see me in the background, showing you how to do some trimming on what is commonly referred to as stargrass, which is Heterananthera zoisterifolia. I don't know if it's zoisterifolia or zosterifolia. I'm not 100% sure, but this is, in America, most people call it stargrass, and then no one knows what the Latin name is. But it's Heterananthera zoisterifolia, I think is pretty close. But this is me kind of grooming it, moving it back, showing you guys how to kind of trim it down. Don't let it get too tall, because that's going to be the biggest problem with this. It will spread out everywhere, but eventually the height is what's really going to screw it up. It's going to screw it up for anybody. Now, I have a piece of this stargrass that I've been growing all the way up to the water, which is, I wouldn't say it's a full 24 inches. It's at least 20 inches that I am going to tear out and show you guys when I do tear it out of there. But that will be in an edited video that will just be like a short edited video of like, oh my God, check out this craziness. And it'll have some kind of stupid title and a wacky thumbnail that'll get people to click on it, right? Because that's so awesome, right? Right. Oh, that's right. Right. And I'll answer some of your guys' questions here in just a second. But I do want to give a shout out to how I am even able to even do this show, how I'm able to even do any of this YouTube stuff at all, even remotely, even on the outside chance that I could even possibly have anything to do with anything YouTube related. And that's you guys either hitting the bright blue join button on YouTube and becoming a member on YouTube, because you might be one of those people that doesn't want to go over to another website, right? That's why that membership's there. It'll either hopefully promote some of our videos through the YouTube algorithm so we could grow the community, or it literally just boils down to chipping me a couple of bucks a month to help me keep the lights turned on, the internet paid for, computer repair parts like this RAM right here. I'm having to swap the RAM out of my editing computer because I don't know which stick is not working properly, but it keeps failing whenever I try to edit. Anyhow, we have 73 members on YouTube. That is 27 less than was my goal to get to the end of the year, to hopefully have 100 members on YouTube. But I am 100% grateful for everybody who has become a member on YouTube. My goal was to get to 300 on patreon.com / JOEL_C, right? Easy to get to. It's Joel C. Joel_C on Patreon. That's me. That's our channel. That's our community. That's what's up. We have 259 people there. Our goal was to get to 300. That didn't happen either, but I am extremely enthusiastic with the 259 people that we have there. 54 Punchy will be littering the chat with links. If you guys want to support the show, if you want to help support out what's going on, we got some travel coming up this year, a bunch of stuff happening, and I'm just going to keep editing and making videos as much as I possibly can. basically until I can either do this independently 100% of the time, or I just get so fed up and tired with it that I quit. Whichever one comes first. I don't know. I don't know how else to do it other than that. Avery Hill's asking UG Aquatics, how many bags would you recommend of Landon would you recommend for a 90-gallon? I'm trying to remember what substrate you guys are talking about. Aquasoil is hard to keep plants in when you have a shallow bed. Yeah, you want to make sure you have 3 inches deep. 3 inches, 4 inches deep is kind of what you're looking for realistically. People always say 2 inches is plenty. Come on, just don't cheap out on the substrate. Don't cheap out on your aquarium. It takes time to build this stuff up. It took me a long time to get all this stuff to build up this tank. People that have been following the channel for a long time would know that you could completely, you could completely do that. Joel JZ is saying, Joel, download a RAM testing program and run each RAM bank individually. Well, I'm building another computer, as JZ, Mr. Gillot from New Zealand is saying that I should test each RAM bank individually. What I'm going to do is flash the BIOS, run through, reset everything, see if I can't clock up the megahertz on my RAM. Then I'm going to move on from there. If it will, function stably, I'll probably continue from there. But I'm also assembling a new computer out of some old parts and stuff like that. So I did have to order some more RAM for that. So I ordered that. I have enough here. So I'm probably going to swap out to this RAM anyhow because the latency is a little bit better. The megahertz is a little bit higher. And I'm going to run that and take some of the old RAM out of here, put it in the new computer, blah, blah, blah. It's just a long kind of goofy story. But yeah, we will do that. Tom Patterson is saying, is asking, I mentioned a future video on Hygrophila arguaya. Any update on when? I'm not sure 100% when, because right now there actually is some. Hold on a second. Let me pause this video. Some of the arguaya that I have. Where's my arrow, guys? There's my arrow. Is right back here. There's actually some right here. And I have it in 3 other tanks right now. So I could really give you guys kind of a better breakdown, hopefully, with some of the future edited stuff that I'm kind of working on, trying to streamline how I'm filming stuff, what I'm filming, and what information I'm trying to pass on to you guys in edited videos. And whether or not I'm actually going to just launch a whole nother YouTube channel for that kind of content. I'm not 100% sure. It kind of struck my mind the other day when I was listening to a YouTuber named Danny Gonzalez. He was playing in the background, and he had mentioned, he's basically recapping how many YouTube channels he started before he got to the point where he actually got one that did well. And it was a surprising number of channels that he had launched until he got to the point where one got good traction. So I may or may not have to follow that avenue at some point. I don't know. But it really boils down to, when do I get the time to just legitimately just do video production and stuff like that? Because I still go out and work in the field, as you guys know. Spend 3 days, basically 3 days a week out there in the field working, although I did have this last week off because of Christmas. But I'll be back on the road tomorrow working and doing the things I got to do to make that money. So it's just a reality of the thing, whether or not we have a big enough community here to actually fund projects or not. Maybe I have to launch, another channel that has some kind of different content that maybe gets better traction. I don't know. Maybe I'll start a YouTube channel that just trash talks other YouTube channels. I don't know. That seems to be a big thing these days. I don't know. But, and abs. People's abs are apparently a big deal. But we got a bunch of people in the chat, so let me see. She rewatched it to hear how loud she was. Much embarrassment happened. I'm not sure. Enjoyed watching your live stream on replay. Did I miss a Bentley live stream? I don't know. I hope I didn't. UG Aquatic says, it's cool. I'm not really sure. I never filled a 90 yet. Would personally drop 40 to 50 pounds of aqua soil and 40 pounds of EcoComplete and see where it gets you. You'd want to have a couple of inches. For a 90 gallon, I would be... I think if I was setting up a 90 gallon, it's probably 3 of the big bags of Fluval Stratum. So those ones are like 18 pounds. I think those are 18 pounds. If memory suits. I might be wrong. It might be like 17 kilograms or something. I don't know. Those ones are like 17 pounds. I would do 3 of those and 2 bags of EcoComplete probably would be a reasonable amount for a 90 gallon. You might have a little bit extra, but that's fine. Just like don't break open all of the bags. Just like save one of the bags. A Rod Cell Holmes is asking how many was it? How many was what? I don't know. How many was what? I don't know. Fish Tropic was asking how much CO2 do I use use a year? If everything is functioning and I don't have any weird leaks or anything like that, I generally only fill a 20-pound CO2 tank like 3 times a year, so like once every 4 months. Thea Bolin says, I gotta go to bed. It's the middle of the night in the Netherlands, so I'm very tired. I wish you all a happy new year in 2020. My English is not so good, so I hope you understand me. I understand you 100%, and I'm always shocked by like the Dutch and the Germans and Hungarians and all those people from Europe are like, my English is not so good, and I'm like, we understand 100% what you're saying. Your English is better than most Americans or British for that matter. So yeah, don't stress out about it too much, but I appreciate the apology. Big D Smoke says 17.6 pounds. All right, I couldn't remember if that was kilograms or pounds. I just was trying to remember, and it's live. Bentley says, my lady was in my room and fell asleep in the chair near me, so you could hear her snoring through the stream. Oh, I didn't realize that. I'll have to check that out. I'm going to have to go find that video and watch it. Precious Tranquility. I got some of those plants. My crinum was, I was told, will take 5 years to look like the one in Corey's 800 gallon. No, that's a long stretch. Probably 18 months. 18 months is about right for a crinum to be, like 6 inches and then eventually get full grown. About 18 months. If it takes 5 years, you have some pretty strong deficiencies in your tank, either in your substrate or your water column or your lights, so I would figure that out. Because like this... All right, hold on a second. Let me find my arrow. Let me pause this. Pause. I paused it at like the most unfortunate time. Let's pause it right there. Okay. So this plant right here is a Euvolsaeus, right? But this plant back here is a crinum. So you can see right there is a crinum. Right there is a crinum. And I got that one 9 months ago. And it was just a little nubbin bulb that was dead. And you can see it's already growing up about 24 inches. It grows all the way up to the top of the water. And that's after moving it a bunch and not even paying attention to it. So now that it's established, probably 9 months from now, it'll be thick and growing like crazy. So I wouldn't worry. It doesn't take 5 years for a crinum calamostratum to grow that big. Val Van Zyl says, please do not quit. You are the only patron I have. Well, it's not my plan to quit. It is definitely not my plan to quit. You might be later in the video. Um, I was only saying that either we could figure out a way to make this, to reach our goals, to get this to be independent, or I quit. Whichever one comes first. If we can hit some of those goals to do some bigger projects and have more time for editing and stuff like that, then I definitely will continue working and doing the project. I do look forward to hopefully someday having enough to be able to do something that's more of National Geographic type TV show type situation, like 1 hour a week comes out that is just boom, 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 boom. Like all of the stuff we're working on, nicely edited together with, a storyline that goes through the whole thing. We could have some writers work on it. We could have some people filming it, and we could have some people editing it. And me being all of one of those solo by myself is becoming it. I feel like I'm doing higher quality projects, but I'm still putting out a lot of content. So it's just getting to the point where, it's just kind of getting to the point where it's like, it's a lot of content, it's a lot of stuff. And it's also one of those things where, like if I travel and I'm gone for a week, it's like, phew, I gotta double the amount of work to be able to be gone for a week so that things can still get posted. And you never know. You never know if any of it's going to work. So I do hope to get a sponsor someday that can help us ease the strain and have things work just a little bit smoother. I'd like to hire somebody someday and try and do bigger projects, Rod sells home. Sorry for that person to make it on the YouTube. Also like your videos, by the way. Hope to see more. I have almost 1,100 videos up on YouTube right now. So, I have a lot of content up. There's a lot of content up there, so if you haven't watched it all, you still got some stuff to do. I know people like Ginger Graves have watched everything. I think she went out of her way to watch everything that I made on this channel, which is like, I don't even know if I've watched everything that I made on this channel, Like, let's be real. I don't even know if I've watched it all. There is Ginger right there. Precious Macrinum took off once it got established. Getting established seemed to take a long time. Yeah, it's kind of the thing. Like, crinum is just one of those plants that will, take a while to get established, and then once it's established, you're like, oh my God, it's growing like crazy. The fish tank barn says, I think the only person who can fire him is Vicky Toria. The only person that can fire me is me. That's it. Yeah, it's me. I'm the only person that could fire me. That's how it goes. Vicky Toria is the top priority person on my list, 100%, no question about it. But the only person that could fire me is me, for sure. Joel, you should engage a consultant/expert YouTube. You have 25,000 subs. Some have much less and make a good business. You can make Joel coffee mugs as well. Trust me, Donald, I talk to a lot of experts on YouTube and stuff like that. And the reality is that, like, there are people that are quote unquote experts about YouTube, that could give you advice on what to do on YouTube like 6 months ago. Because there's really no way to qualify what someone's advice right now, if it applies to what YouTube is right now, right? And if they had advice that applied to right now, which means that they would have to work at Google and somehow know more about the algorithm and the machine learning and all the stuff that's going on. They would have to know more about Google's process than Google knows. So, yes, there are a lot of experts out there that go break down what, they go out there and they break down essentially what the analytics from the past, right? They go break down the analytics from the past, and then they go, okay, I make my new seminar now because I have this data, and I can break down this data, and then I can go tell it to people so that they can make money. So most of the consultants that you find out there, they make money by telling people how to make money on YouTube, right? So they'll make like a YouTube video, put it out. They'll make money off of it that way. And yes, they have good strategy and stuff like that, but having good strategy doesn't mean that you're going to have good success. And a perfect example of that would be like in the restaurant world, right? Like, let's say you have an awesome chef. Let's say you have an awesome accountant. Let's say you have an awesome supplier. You have an awesome building. You have an awesome location. You have all of the advertising in the world. And it turns out nobody in the town wants a Japanese restaurant, a Japanese style restaurant in the city that you opened it up in. So you only get 35 customers a night, and your minimum is 58 customers a night for it to be a profitable business, right? So you technically are making 35 people happy, right? But you're not making 58 people as the minimum, right? So you will be getting customers, but you're not getting enough customers to keep a business going for a long time, and eventually you'll just wear out of money and have to close the restaurant. Now, you could go find a restaurant consultant who would come in for between $60,000 and $90,000, will come in, revamp your menu, change everything around, say, hey, I've got all the answers for what's going on, relaunch your restaurant. But that, while that may or may not be good advice, doesn't mean that you're going to have success, right? Donald's Fish Vibes points something out, says I have 25,000 subs, which is very small. So if I even open up, hold on a minute. I think I had it open here earlier. Hold on, let me open up Social Blade stats. So Social Blade is a software that will actually tell you what the stats are on a channel. If it's not your channel, you can't really verify how exactly close the things are. But I'll tell you this much, video views for the last 30 days is accurate. So we have 70,000 video views. Our estimated monthly earnings is between $18 and $281, and that's accurate. It's somewhere in that range. And let's see. So my total grade is a B-, and my subscriber rank. So there's 473, almost 474,000 channels that are bigger than mine on YouTube right now. Out of animals, I'm the 4,000th biggest channel out of animals, out of that category. In just the United States, there's 81,567 channels bigger than mine in just the United States. So that just kind of gives you an idea that, like, it's a competitive space, that kind of stuff. And yes, I happen to have 25,000 subscribers, but bear in mind, a lot of those come just from people because they like Corey from Aquarium Co-op. Like, that's the reality. Like, I have a ton of subscribers that are literally just subscribed to me because they're subscribed to Corey. That doesn't mean that they watch my videos or anything like that. And it's actually a detriment as far as the robot machines that run YouTube. It's actually a detriment to how well my channel performs. So whether or not it's going to promote a video or not, it's actually detrimental. So it'll be like, oh, we don't want to support and promote the videos that were put out here because only, I think last time I looked this up, hold on, let me look it up. Let me log into Morning Fame here. So my average overall views per video is 1,200, which is not good out of 25,000. But what I actually need to do is go to the analytics report from Morning Fame, and it'll give me the number right here. So 25% of my views are from visitors, 75% are my views from subscribers. So that will give you a pretty good idea. And then let me see, is it under velocity workshop? So my views from subscribers were actually 5,000 below what they're supposed to be. 854 subscribers keep coming back. That's the number right there. 854 people are essentially subscribed to my channel. They have their notifications turned on, they get their notification, and they actually watch the video. So, yeah, that's kind of the reality, you know. So I basically have 854 subscribers, so I'm even below the 1,000 mark that I'm supposed to be at to try and even do this. So, and the reality is that if we had 854 people that were contributing $5 a month, we'd have way more money than we would need to do a lot of the production stuff that we want to do. So if it's worth it, I don't know. A-Rod Sells Homes just joined up on the Patreon, and thank you very much. I'll very much appreciate it. And everybody else who's already a Patreon also. I also appreciate you also. And I don't want anybody to think that I don't, but I do, because I do. But that's just a reality. Like, we have some goals up on Patreon that are pretty straightforward in my mind, I think. Like the $3,500 a month is kind of the mark of, like, you know, which we're about halfway there, maybe less. Yeah, we're less than halfway there to hit the point where I could just go like, look, I got the mortgage paid. I don't have to take side jobs of like fixing people's toilets and stuff like that. I could take them if I want, you know, and like do them on the weekend or something, but would definitely free up a lot of the constructive time. Zen Ginger says, I did find you through The Real Fish Talk, but I stayed because of your content, so it's not just the affiliation. Well, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the actual affiliation in its own right. I mean, Corey's he's going to eclipse 400,000 subscribers. If he keeps it up, he's going to hit 1 million in, I think last time we talked about it, like the end of 2020. I think he's going to hit like 1 million at the end of 2020, I think. Something like that. Oh, my leg's asleep. Oh, my God, my leg. Oh, it's so sleepy. It's so sleepy. It's shooting lasers and lightening up my leg. Oh, I sat on my foot too long and fell asleep. Anyhow, sorry, I get back to where I was talking about. Yes, a big part of it does have to do with the affiliation with Aquarium Co-op and Corey. And he's got almost 400,000 people now following him on YouTube, and he has specifically run some contests in the past that me, Zenzo, Bob Steenfott, Schwisky, a bunch of other people, if they signed up for those contests by subscribing to a bunch of stuff, like me, Aqua Pros, Bob Steenfott, a bunch of other people, were so graciously added to those lists that people got extra entries to the Aquarium Co-op contest, right? And that's where a lot of my subscribers came from. And it's pretty easy. You could go look at it anybody could go look at it on Social Blade if you want. But the monthly gained subscribers, you can see right around, let me see, January of 2018, I started getting, 2,000 subscribers a month for a while there. While that contest was ongoing. So that's basically what that was. And I'm not mad at it. I'm grateful to kind of, pump my numbers up a little bit like that. But the reality is there's only like 1,000 people that really like this channel. And so, I mean, people are like, why do you only cater to the people that like really watch your channel? I'm like, because they're the people that really support the channel. So I really try to make content that they would like to continue having around and is helpful to them, So, like, for instance, like if I was a learning disabled channel, right? And the thing that I helped out with was autistic learning, right? And then one day I just suddenly decided that I was just going to be a cartoon channel about like a Baby Shark or something, right? And people would be like, "What are you doing? Why did you stop doing what you did before? Now you're doing this Baby Shark thing," right? And I'd be like, "Well, that's all the people like Baby Shark, so I'm just going to make Baby Shark videos now." They're like, "Yeah, but now all these people that were here to watch your channel from the jump, now they don't get the content that they were here from the start," right? So that's why I make what I make, you know? Like that's the, you know, obviously it's a weird analogy or whatever, but like if I suddenly shifted gears one day and started doing "My fish died because Petco sucks and PetSmart is the worst company in the world, so watch what I did at PetSmart. I went in there with my camera and I filmed it, and then I came home and did a voiceover," right? It's like then I came home and did a voiceover about how much PetSmart sucks on my video, and then I made a thumbnail that looked like everything was dying, right? Like, yeah, I could make that video. I could make that video easier than most of the other videos I make, right? I could drive over to Petco and like film some tanks and like, film some of the workers there and be like, "These are the worst workers ever." And then I could post that video up and it would probably get 5 or 10 times the amount of views that I normally get on a video. But what is the point? What is the benefit in that, right? I don't get it. And it's a waste. It's a waste of time. So it's just weird. Precious Tranquility says, "Oh man, I just saw New York Gold's video. It's on." What is that? I don't know. 54 Punchy says, "I came for Corey and I stayed for the Yeezys." Well, it's not bad. I mean, I could post some Yeezy content here fairly soon if I'm not paying too much attention. I could probably. Oh, hold on. What's going on here? Sorry, I forgot I had my my outdoor camera was playing, and then something happened. It like turned off because of slow charging. Oh, my phone just gave me an alert that it was slow charging, and that I should do something to make it charge faster, and it's at 100%. Let's see. I'm reading. I don't know. Sorry, one last question about substrate. Will 1.5 inches of Fluval stratum work for my planted? I realize it's not ideal at all, but I really don't have much money for more than that. Avery, so one of the tactics that I do with kind of building up substrate, and let me pause my video here a little bit with my hand kind of stuck in there. Oh man, look at that! I got a cut on my hand or something. How weird. So Avery, one of the things that I do, and let me get my arrow here. So as you guys can see, there's some of the red substrate is down here, and there's a couple of it like kicking around down here, which I'll probably clean up at some point. You see this rock here? I mean, obviously this is Dragonstone, and I know a lot of people would be like, "Dude, Dragonstone's expensive," and I get it. I always buy the ones that are all screwed up, and then I hit them with a hammer until they look nicer. So I always buy like the leftover stuff, the things that don't that stores don't want or whatever. And sometimes I get it. Sometimes I get them added, or sometimes I get them sponsored too. So I understand that. But the Fluval stratum, I buy that all myself, and I wait till it goes on sale on Amazon, and then I'll buy some of it, and I save it in my shop. I just put it up in the attic and hold on to it for whenever I do my next project or whatever. But the main thing I was trying to say here is that I've got some cheap substrate back here that the stargrass is growing in, and then I've got fluval stratum over here. And I use this rock as kind of a dividing line. So what I'll do is I pour in the cheap substrate, right? And I fill up this whole area with the cheap substrate that stuff like stargrass will grow in. It'll just, stargrass is mostly pulling from the water column itself. So as long as it has something for its roots to grab onto, it's basically going to keep growing and keep spreading, right? So I'll fill up that area with the cheap stuff, put those rocks in there as my kind of dividing area, and then fill up this other side over here where I got the shrimp moving around. Look at this. I can move the shrimp around. So where the shrimp area is over here, I'll fill that up with stratum and then plant harder, more difficult, more demanding plants into areas like this side over here, so I can kind of keep the cost down a little bit and also be able to give the advice to you guys, hey, let me keep that cost down just a tiny bit. Or you could use something like egg crate and stuff like that to kind of build up the back area with your rocks and everything, and then keep your good expensive substrate down in the front, and not have to use all of it. Yeah, that's kind of my advice there. So maybe a lower layer of something to build it up a little bit. You can even just do, river rock and stuff like that. The really fine river rock and things like that down low, and then put stratum or ADA aqua soil or whatever you want on the top of it to kind of get some height up. And when those roots grow all the way down like 3-4 inches deep, they're not really concerned about what it is that they're around down there. They're just spreading out and kind of filling in and taking up space. Bloom Hatch Aquatics. Oh my God, we got a new member on YouTube today too. Oh man, we got a new member today. Bloom Hatch Aquatics. I don't even know if Bloom Hatch Aquatics has videos or anything like that. You should definitely check it out. Yeah. VB23 is here. What's up? Says I'm a dirty tank guy, which I'm sure would make me an outsider. Not really, people get mad at me because they're like, you hate dirted aquariums. I'm like, I don't hate dirted aquariums. I don't advise them for people because it's not a good advice to give to people, to essentially give them a whole bunch of extra work to do via a dirted aquarium, right? When you could easily avoid it by, finding a gig and making $40 a couple of times and getting some good substrate. It's really not that big of a deal, Let's say you mow your neighbor's lawn once every 2 weeks and you make $25 doing it. Once a month, you could buy another bag of Fluval, which is basically what I do right now. It's like $37 a month. I get one of the big bags of Fluval from Amazon. I don't even have to go anywhere. It literally just gets dropped off on my porch, and I think that's what might be on my porch right now is a bag of Fluval. Although, no, the date's wrong because it normally would show up on like the 7th or something, so it'd be like a week from now. So that's basically what it boils down to me. I just get like one bag a month, and after 3 or 4 months of like not really using any, all of a sudden I've got 3 or 4 extra bags of Fluval, and it's like, let me go over to Amazon. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, even though you get that discount because you're on that monthly delivery, right? And I don't really care about Amazon except for the convenience factor. They have decent prices. It gets dropped off at my house. That's the big thing I like about Amazon. And yes, I am an Amazon affiliate, but I don't really care what that company does or doesn't do. It's just kind of whatever. And I don't necessarily like advise the dirted aquarium because it is just a whole bunch of extra work. I do advise the Wallstad method, which is what people have called the dirted tanks, but it's Wallstad is the one that came up with it. She has a book out about it. She's the originator of it, Diana Wallstad. And let me find that. Let me find my link for it. I think it's in my store. Let me double check. Let me check here. Yeah, it's The Ecology of the Planet Aquariums, or I would highly recommend Sunken Gardens by Karen Randall, who I met a while ago and then told me do not film me whatsoever right now. Which is, I don't know. It's kind of funny in its own right, which actually the paperback for that right now is on sale. Ooh. The mini encyclopedia of aquarium plants. That's a really good book. Let me find my chat here. I'm gonna pull my chat back up. There we go. So that's Diana Wallstad's book, which that will tell you how to do the dirted method, step by step, properly, the correct way to go about it. Look, I think Dustin's a great guy. But I also think that it's very weird that he decided to take someone else's idea and call it something else, and then, of course, in a bunch of his old videos, reference the fact that that was the book that he read all the time. So that's the book to read. That's the advice to follow. Go there, read that book, follow the steps in it, and learn a whole bunch. And then you probably will never do a dirted tank ever again. It's just, that's the reality, man. Like, I like Dustin. Last time I talked to him, actually, I've talked to him a bunch of times in the last couple of years, but every time I talk to him, he's a great guy. He's a good dude. I got no bad feelings for him, but the reality is that he decided to coin it the dirted aquarium. As far as I could tell, it was him that came up with that term, and it caught fire online on YouTube and stuff. And but the Diana Wallstad's book is where it came from, and it's where he mentioned a bunch of times where he got the idea from. So go read that book. I highly recommend it. You learn a whole bunch. It's like not that complicated of a book to read. If you have questions or something about it, I think Karen has a bunch of like podcasty type stuff that you could find, like interviews with her and stuff. So I would definitely go check that out. If you got them, if you've got $17, is the Sunken Gardens one. Let me copy this. Diana Wallstad is The Ecology of the Planet Aquarium. Karen Randall is the Sunken Gardens book, and I love this book. This book is awesome from Karen Randall. She's got a lot of great information, a lot of great research. Definitely check that out if you give it a chance. Yeah, that one's $18. So that's pretty affordable too, for especially the amount of information that's in there. George Farmer has a book coming out in August of 2020. That's on here on Amazon. That comes out in 9 months. So that's some early advertising. The pre-order price guarantee. This is almost worth it. I almost want to order this George Farmer's book just because. I mean, $20 is kind of affordable, but I'm gonna get the George Farmer link here and see if I can get 12 cents off of you guys pre-ordering George Farmer's book. So I bet that's gonna be good. I'm going to pre-order it, I think. Also considering that Palmer Aquatics with a $10 super chat, which I love the Palmer Aquatics content. I love it. I love it for sure. I wish you had more examples of stuff that you talk about, though, like in the exact thing that you're talking about. If I had one critique, that would be like, sometimes I tune into your videos and it's like, where's the video of that fish? And it's like, well, you don't have it right now. But I appreciate your videos, and I appreciate like getting to hear some of your experiences with stuff. That's always great. Holy crap, we got a $20 super chat before the end of the year here. It says, thank you for all your content and charisma, Joel, a.k.a. Aaron DeCina. Also known as Aaron DeCina, have donated in the past, but I've come down with multiple tank syndrome since watching you and Kobe while you two hosted Real Fish Talk. Been lurking since 2017. So you've launched the Bloom Hatch Aquatics, saying keep having fun, man. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That is rad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And always appreciated, but it's always awesome to see people like Palmer Aquatics and Bloomhatch Aquatics and stuff like that, where you guys, it's awesome. It's good to see. And I wonder if you have any videos. Can I do that from here? Oh, can I do go to channel? Oh no, I'm going to lose my chat. Oh, I just lost my chat window. I got to reopen my chat window. It didn't work. I tried to go to your channel, but it didn't work. It went to my channel for some reason and closed my chat window. But Palmer Aquatics with a $5 super chat says, if I see another Petco or PetSmart bashing videos, I'm going to drive my car into a lake. Yes, I agree. The thing is that people get in a pattern of making the same video over and over again because they got traction with something. And so they'll just keep making the thing because they got traction for it. And to me, it's really low-hanging fruit to, like, go to PetSmart or Petco and be like, everything's being mistreated here. And like, yeah, we all know that. Like, Walmart sucks. Like, yeah, we know that, But making a YouTube video about your outrage at the beta fish at Walmart or PetSmart or whatever is literally just you're advertising for those companies for free, right? You're freely entertaining, or you're freely advertising for PetSmart or Petco or Walmart or whatever, because the people that watch it, it gets in their head that, oh, there's betas at Walmart. I guess I'll go over there and buy a fish, right? And then they'll be like, well, I don't want to buy a fish when I'm at Walmart. I don't personally ever go to Walmart ever. So, I mean, if you guys see me make a Walmart video, for instance, it would literally be me going to Walmart to go make a video, right? So, unless there's like a real good reason for me to go advertise for those guys for free, then yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a waste of time. And I almost feel like it's just like a giant waste of like my time to even like watch that material, because there's nothing to it. It's like, oh, I just walked around the grocery store with my camera. Like, okay, like 9 times out of 10, they go buy something while they're there, too. That's the thing. It's always like, I was just here to get some fish food, and it turns out the person that works here is a jackass and got me the wrong fish. And it's like, so wait, you were buying fish at the place that you want to just trash talk about? Like, why are you giving them money? I don't know. KP says Petco PetSmart videos usually get higher number of views. Yeah, that's why people make them, because people watch them. But are we personally ever going to change that with what we watch? Like, I don't know. That's the thing that kind of makes me question, right? Is like, are we going to stop watching it or not? I don't know. Like, a perfect example would be like Dustin's fish tanks. I stopped watching his videos for years, right? Like, I stopped watching his videos, and then when he started building that greenhouse, somehow some of his videos were popping up in my feed, and I watched some of them, and some of them were good. Some of them were like, man, I didn't realize that this is how long it takes to get a permit for a drain line, to do this, to do that. Then we have to excavate. Then we have to get it surveyed. Then we have to get the survey permit. We have to get, once the survey is done, then we got to take it to a permit approval to make sure that permit approves our drainage, whether or not it's going to interfere with the wetlands, whether it's going to do this, whether it's going to do that, right? That stuff, to me, is actually good content. It's great content. It's great content that somebody that doesn't do something embarks on a big project and then can at least explain to you like what's going on here. But just this like clickbait nonsense that like there's a blue lobster living in my pool. I I don't know. I don't get how any of that stuff has any value. I personally don't. Maybe y'all really like it, and that's the stuff you like to watch. I don't know. I'm not judging. Watch whatever you want. But I don't know if it's ever going to change because people like watching that stuff. Excuse me. But yeah, it's just one of those things. $10 super chat from Ginger Graves says, Happy New Year to you, Vicky and Olivia. Well, Happy New Year to you, Ginger. Thank you very much for your super chat of the day. I probably got myself in trouble with people today. I don't know. I probably said something. I probably said something that's probably going to piss off a whole bunch of people, and they're going to try and fight me at a convention. That'd probably be my guess if I had to wager a guess. That would be the guess that I'd have to wager. But none of it's not malicious or ill-meaned. If anybody thinks that's the case, I just think I don't want to watch Petco videos, and it's weird how they get like 100,000 views just because Petco's in the thumbnail. Argue with the employees, too long, too short. Employee left, she got fired. Now it's anarchy at Petco. Oh, yeah, it's a big box chain store, man. Like they don't hire employees like they do in Europe. Honestly, all of the stores that I've been to in Europe are generally professional, or they're the owner. Like the small places I've been to, they're the owner. And they may or may have like 1 or 2 employees, 3 employees, something like that. But even the Petco equivalent in Europe, all of the people that work there are really professional. They're paid well, and they're taking care of the place. That's the big difference in the U.S. versus Europe, for instance. Now, I can't tell you about Asia. I've never been there to go look through their big box stores. But I will say this, lots of parts of Europe, the big stores there are way more professional than the ones in the U.S. And the big difference isn't whether or not the corporation is worth a ton of money. Because let's say the giant pet store in Germany, for instance, was worth $2 billion. And the one in the U.S. is worth $6 billion. There's no real difference there. I mean, obviously there are differences of billions, but there's no real difference in availability of access to infrastructure, whatever it could be that you wanted to apply. The big difference is they pay their employees well, and they make sure that they're trained properly to even work in the stores at all in Europe. Like you just don't work there like right off the street like you do in the U.S. In the U.S., you just hire somebody to come in and take care of a bunch of animals, basically, who have no previous training or anything like that. Whereas in Europe, most of the people there are at the very least veterinarians, they're becoming veterinarians or they're in school for it. Like that's the very least, a lot of the people that were in the dog departments and stuff like that, there was a veterinarian at the big store. Like maybe not everybody working there was a veterinarian, but there was one there somewhere in the store, and that's a big time difference between the U.S. and Europe, for instance. VB23 is wondering who here uses DIY Osmocote root tabs. I don't. It's a big waste of time, in my opinion, and there's far too many variables that are bad in that also. Yeah, you can get a ton of growth from Osmocote, as I know from terrestrial growth, aquaponics and hydroponic systems. Yeah, it's something that you can do, but let's say you have crystal shrimp, like this shrimp right here, and you want to get into it. Osmocote may or may not be fine as you roll along and do your little Osmocote tabs. It might be fine for a while, and then 2 months in, something happens, and all your crystal shrimp die overnight. What's that worth to you? Saving $3, making your own Osmocote root tabs, or $600 worth of crystal shrimp? I mean, that to me is the big breakdown. I've tried Osmocote a bunch of times. I wanted it to be the most awesome thing ever, but it's just not regulated like things are that are going to be going underwater and be in the water column. And Osmocote is not intended to be fully submerged. But the reality is that if you wanted to get some super cheap fertilizers that are somewhat cheaper, just buy your own dry fertilizers and add them in. And $3 says, for example, in France, guppy is a pet with all of the rights that come with a pet tag. That's right. In Europe, most of the countries have protections for abusing fish or invertebrates, which includes shrimp and snails and all that kind of stuff. You can't just be murdering fish and stuff. You can't be doing that. You have to maintain. I think you could probably get away with it at your house, but you certainly couldn't be doing it at a business. You'll just lose your business license. There's monetary things you could get fined. You could go to jail if you're found to be abusing any kind of animals, especially for profit. Oh, Pamela was messaging me that I got to scroll up for a $10 super chat from Ginger. Hopefully I mentioned that, right? Didn't I mention that? I think I got to it. It might have been a while ago. Oh no, this is from 429. I think I mentioned Ginger Graves' $10 super chat. I think I got it. Thank you, Ginger. Ginger has always been supporting, definitely been supporting the show, and I definitely appreciate it. That's really what it boils down to. I mean, I've never really thought that somebody independently wealthy or whatever would be able to sponsor the show. I never thought that would be the case. Always my goal was to literally be like, if there's 1,000 people that are into like $5 a month or $10 a month or whatever the hell the number is, I don't know, that would be able to fund doing this project, we'd be able to float it. And as I mentioned before, I'm 100% I have a ton of gratitude right now that I'm able to do this, like between 2 and 4 days a week kind of stuff, situation, whatever you want to call it. I try to make as much edited stuff as I can. And as I mentioned before, like if this gets more and more and more and more, then I will, I'm going to bring other people into the production stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if we have did I have Alyssa was here last week? Maybe she was here the week before. No, she was in. So she might be back for this Friday. I don't know. I'll have to find out. She might be out of town. So, but like Alyssa is a perfect example. It would be dope to have her in here like once every week instead of every 2 weeks. Yeah. So all that kind of stuff is my goal, to be able to expand the show, expand editing and filming and all that kind of stuff, and going places and, bringing back video to you guys. It would be crazy for like 1,000 people to try to go to Netherlands and hit up Vivarium, but it's not that crazy that 2 people would be able to go out to Vivarium and do whatever. Somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, is Aquashella canceled? I have no idea. I don't know. I'm not the guy to ask about that. I've never been to Aquashella, and I really don't have plans to go. So I don't really know about any of the inner workings of it or anybody that runs it or anything that goes on with Aquashella, so you're going to have to ask somebody else, not me. I don't know. But JH Aquatics just showed up. What's up? What's up, Joseph? I saw something about Joseph getting a new place. I saw you posted something about some house keys or something on a thing, and I forget where it was, and then I forgot to mention it or comment on it because I'm the worst sometimes. But I had seen that, I think, or something. And, I don't know where it went. Why did anybody tell me I was, like, way down here? I'm, like, way down here in the corner. I'll just be down here being sneaky, down in the corner being weird. Okie dokie. UG Aquatics says I would pay for more fish if they would have a fish person who wasn't guessing. If you can buy a pistos for $4 as African cichlids off the person in aquatics, they're in the wrong department. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree pretty wholeheartedly with that comment. But yeah, that's ultimately the big difference is that that's the big difference in the U.S. versus Europe. Big D Smoke says no, Aquatic Experience is canceled. I think the Aquatic Experience was canceled. Aquashella is May 16th in Texas. Yeah, see, I won't be going to that because I will be going to Interzoo in Germany. That's like right at the same time, basically. But I will be in Germany going to Interzoo. That is my plan. And by the way, anybody that gets like super pissed that I'm going to Interzoo in Germany, like Interzoo is like, I don't know how big Aquashella is, but there is no way that Aquashella is bigger than Interzoo. Last time I saw Aquashella had 3,000 people cap at the door to get in. Like, that's how big the space was. And Interzoo was 25,000 people, and that was not capped. There was way more people who could have gone in there. So, but you know, if you can go to Interzoo, I would recommend it. So far, I would say go to Vivarium. That's been my favorite convention that I have been to. And you know, I certainly have not been to every convention or anything like that, but so far that has been my favorite convention that I've been to, and I plan on going to it next year. Mainly the people there were awesome. The stands, the layout, the displays, all of the stuff that they had, available things that you could buy as a fan if you wanted to. I mean, I can't really buy anything, but yeah, Vivarium was great, and I would recommend that to anybody. If you can get to the Netherlands, go to that for sure. JH Aquatics says, yes, it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in Burlington, Vermont. Great. Now I got to, one of these days, figure out how to go to Burlington, Vermont, of all that stuff. Then all that. But, yeah, that is great news. I'm super happy to hear that. That's fantastic. Scotty G said, I was hoping to meet people at Aquatic Experience this year. Go figure. Yeah, I mean, I guess Aquatic Experience got canceled. I mean, they never sponsored me to come out or anything like that, so I can't really tell you any of the inner workings of any of that stuff. No one's ever sponsored me, really, other than Corey dragging me along. I guess Aquarium Co-op's the only place that's ever sponsored me to go to a convention. But it wasn't really like your traditional sponsorship or anything like that. We were all just going together. So I normally pay my own way and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that no one's ever really paid for me to go or anything like that. But yeah, I do plan on going to Vivarium again. And Aquatic Experience, yeah, I've been to a couple of them, and they were pretty good. And I didn't go this last year because I feel like there was going to be nothing new at Aquatic Experience from the other times that I had been to Aquatic Experience. I didn't think that there was anything new that was going to be there. So it just was going to be a ton of money to go to something and then not be able to bring back like content for you guys, you know? So it seems like a big waste of, you know, resources as far as I'm concerned. Let's see here. All right, we got coming up on 4:40. I'm going to have to end the show here in just a little bit, and the main reason for that is I got to go pick up my daughter from daycare. I was thinking I was going to plan this. I was going to finish this show a little bit earlier, but it's kind of been yammering on for the last 45 minutes. So let me see if I got any questions in the chat. I built a friend a reef tank. It's about 8 months old, and he's still killing anemones. To be fair, he refused to buy a marine light using an Aquaneat Optibright. Now, I have to admit, the Fluval 3.0 reef lights that I have, I'm going to be selling those used, and it's going to be a good deal for somebody local. I'm going to be selling those fairly soon. I'm going to be selling off the reef tank. It's just become a space that I could easily be doing freshwater stuff in, and I think I'm just going to end up getting rid of it. And I was keeping that tank mainly because Vicky had got some stuff for it. I think at the kind of the point where I was at was I was kind of holding on to that tank because Vicky had bought some anemones and things like that. Oh, I got some messages from Victoria. Sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what that was all about. But what the heck was I talking about? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we got the new year coming up. Should be fun. Water Wizard says 28-29 November is the 2020 Vivarium, which is actually almost like a better weekend than it was before, because it was over the Halloween weekend. Is it 28 and 29 of November? Gosh, why are these people 2020? Yeah. Because that might be Thanksgiving. Where is it? Holland. Let's see here. Let's open it up here. Vivarium. Well, that's 2019. Let's see here. Well, I'm not seeing Vivarium 2020 yet. I see Vivarium 2019. 16th, 17th February. No, that's not right. The 2nd and 3rd. Wait, that's not right. I don't know. I'm not seeing it, and we are live on the internet, and people are just hearing me go, what, huh? So, I don't know. I'll figure it out and let you guys know next week. But here's the good thing. The new year is coming. That is very soon, and I will be back in 2020. Once we will be back on in the year 2020 to talk about fish stuff, to do whatever we're talking about, whatever we're doing. And honestly, I got to go to the bathroom before I pick up Olivia. So I'm going to head out, and I'll talk to you all on the other side of the thing. Whatever the other side of the thing is, I don't know.